What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another advanced guide video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the unusual Dark Ages in Age of Empires, and today we're going to start with the most unusual one, which is the Chinese. So for those of you guys who don't know, Chinese start with an extra 3 villagers from the get-go, at the cost of missing 200 food and 50 wood. So I believe they start with only 150 wood and 0 food. So what this means is you're not going to be able to create a villager from the get-go, and we're going to have to do a few other steps. And I have here the few steps you're going to need to follow. So if you can just take a look at them real quick, we're going to make a house with the first villager, and then send the rest of the starting villas to sheep, and we're going to get loom right away, and then we're going to follow the rest of it. So here's the build. If you guys want to, look at it, try it out for yourselves, and I'm going to go right into it. I'm not going to do anything specific like a scout or an archer builder. So I have the 3 to 4 villas to wood, depending on whether you're doing scouts. So you go with 3 archers or men at arms, you go with 4. But the rest of the build would be the same. I'm going to do it up to the Dark Age, and then I'll let you guys decide what strategy you guys want to go for. It'll pretty much be this like very similar Dark Ages for whichever strategy you choose for. So yeah, I'll just do up to Dark Age, and you guys will go from there, depending on your game. All right, let's get this Arabia going. So I'll be using Hidden Cup 2 Arabia, the custom map made for the Hidden Cup tournament, and this is basically the only difference between this and a regular Arabia. Well, there's a few differences, but the only one that's going to really matter to us is that we're going to have the first sheep in our line of sight. If that's the case for you guys, that's great. If not, just make sure to scout for that first sheep with your initial villas to get that in as soon as possible. So yeah, we're just going to go for the Chinese pick now. Alright. Rest is fine. Let's go for it. So remember, first thing we're going to do is make that house and look for the sheep. We're not going to kill any villas. Alright. So make the house with 1 villager. Make sure you get that sheep in as quickly as possible. And there we go. And then we get loom. Obviously we can't make any villas. And we start with less resources. Alright, rest of the build is pretty much the same. Or like the other parts of the Dark Age. Scouting is going to scout with sheep all around. That's all well and good. Only difference is that we're gonna actually have to make the first villa that comes out. We will be sent to sheep as well. So we're gonna have 7 on sheep, and that's just gonna ensure that we have constant villager production, no idle time between the villas as we go on. There we go. Make sure to always keep a sheep close by to TC, and basically you want to force drop every time you make a villa from the TC, and that way I'm going to limit idle time. If you do this correctly, you're going to find yourself finishing the Dark Age, like as soon as you get to Feudal Age, an extra 2 villas on your opponent if you have a great start. So we're going to go on the wood now. Make sure to continue dropping off. There you go. As soon as 1 vill's created, I already have enough food for the next vill, and that's just because I added an extra vill onto sheep. And go for that lumber camp as very usual, with other civs as well. And like I said, vill comes out, I force drop, I'm able to make a new one right away. Again, I'm not going to use any deer for this builder. You can if you want, it helps, but I'm going to do it in worst case scenario, assuming you've got nothing available to you. I found both my boars. I think I found all my sheep as well, so things are looking great. Alright, so I'm going to go with 3 on wood. I'm going to pretend it's a scouts build. If you want to do archers, you just send the 4th one at this stage. It's no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and get that boar. Yeah, I've scouted all my sheep now. Next we'll make that house. And then we'll make the berry, the mill. Getting that boar in. And the next 3 will go to berries, or I think 2 more will go to berries. And that boar in. It's a bit of an unlucky lure. That guy. Pathing messed up. Well, that would be okay. I would just have to stay on the sheep a little bit longer. Regardless of the situation, we're just going to force drop here, make sure we're able to produce fills. The important thing is to never have idle time with your TC, or to minimalize it as much as possible. We'll get that berry done. And force dropping where I can. Gonna go ahead and lure the second boar. So now this boar's not done, but in a real game situation it would be if I lured it properly. I had to take an extra sheep though to keep the TC rolling. But yeah, we're fine. We're gonna bring in this next boar here. We'll be alright. Hopefully this time will be a little bit better. There you go. Alright, next build we'll make that house and go. That would be my fourth build to berries as well. And then after that, I'm gonna do a couple more over to the boar, and then I'll just make it here. It's close to the berries. And then I'll send the next 3 to wood, and then I'll click up. But the goal is to get 23 pop up, and we'll see what time we hit. So again, going down to the boar now. I altered the builder a little bit just to make up for the sheep, or the missed boiler. But other than that, it's pretty similar. So the last one will be on boar, and then the next 3 over to wood camp, and we're gonna make that second lumber camp as well. Alright, so now we're gonna make that second lumber camp. We're just gonna take sheep when we're done with the boar. Last fill, and then we'll click up. Again, if you had deers or if you had a proper boiler, you would be in a better position with the amount of hunt under your TC at this stage, but I'm running low on sheep, but it shouldn't really affect my uptime. I'll show you what you guys can do with these fills when they're done, assuming you get no deer. As soon as that fill's done, and look at that, we're gonna click up. And so this is basically a 21 pop time with regular civ, but we're doing it with 23 pop. So that means you have an extra 2 villagers. And this is what I mean. Once you perfect the Chinese start, you can get up to 2 vill advantage while having the same uptime as your opponent and the same resources available. So make sure you guys practice this and get to this point. I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of what you can do with the vills on your TC to make sure you're not like keeping them idle and you're able to have enough food to actually create these scouts. So once your sheep run out, again, I had a pretty messy start, but we're going to just put them to lone wood. We're going to send a bunch over to the wood camp. We're going to make sure we have 5 on each lumber camp as usual with our builds. We're also going to send a 5th one over to berries. This is something I like to do with Chinese as well. And don't be afraid to seed at least 1 farm. Or actually, at most 1 farm, I would say. It's a nice little bonus. So 5 on each lumber camp here. 5 there, 5 there. Okay. And the rest will go on the stragglers. 5 on berries and a few on the straggler trees. 1 farm is fine. With one of the villas, you want to create a house and then your barracks, obviously. And so we're gonna take a look. We're gonna see how many resources we have available once we actually hit this feudal age, and if we're actually gonna be able to produce scouts or not. Again, remember I had a pretty messy start and I'm learning no deer, so this is pretty much like the worst case scenario with Chinese. Rex goes down. We're gonna send that second build to make it now. Make sure your berries vills are working. Make sure everyone is working. Alright, we're gonna make that barracks and we're gonna make that stable. We're gonna get both eco upgrades right away. And I think we'll have enough eco to produce a couple of scouts at least. There we go. Barracks finished. Both eco upgrades going down. As soon as you get horse collar, by the way, you don't have to wait. You can start seeding farms with your vills here. There we go. And you'll have enough eco or resources available to do everything. And we hit feudal age at a really, really fast time. Like I said, 21 pop time. I think it was like 950 or 949. And yeah, now we're just seeding farms, and now we're playing a regular scouts build. As you can see, we have enough eco to produce a couple scouts. Not very many. If you lure deer, would help. But yeah, it's a pretty reasonable amount here. 1 scout right away, and vill production is, right around the corner. There you go. So like I said, you've got 2 vills extra over your opponent, and this will be the end of this little tutorial here. Once you guys practice the Chinese start, you'll be able to hit times like this while keeping a 2 vill lead over your opponent. Remember, if you can lure deer, it really helps with your scout production, and if you want to go archers, that's fine as well. It's a little bit harder to go men at arms because you don't have that many resources available at the start of feudal age, like you're seeing here. But like I said, if you practice it enough and if you lure deer, you should have enough resources to get whatever you want going. And they're very flexible. Once you get past this early feudal age, they become a very smooth civ with a strong eco bonus and a lot of options with a really, really solid late game as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little unusual Dark Age guide. We're going to be doing more of these for probably like civs like Malay, Mayans, etc., etc. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.